The headlines. Dana Forum annual meeting held in Badr town. Iran ready to resume nuclear program if U.S. exits bill. Hello to you all. This is Oromia Broadcasting Network News, and I'm Tamaskan Mulatu. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed remarked that East Africans should be able to decide on African issues. Dana Forum regular meeting held in Badr town. Let Teresa present.
On the 7th Dana High-Level Forum on Peace and Security in Africa, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed said the forum can bring ideas, thoughts and solutions together on how the African Union can reform itself in financial and political provisions. The Premier noted that ensuring economic development, financial independence and political reform for the continent is not a matter of choice but a necessary change. Abiy stressed that African leaders need to be quite tough to implement the brilliant solutions that have been generated by this forum. Prime Minister Abiy also said the African Union can be fully accountable to being free from financial dependency and deliberate on the continent's problems and seriously consider the ideas and thoughts that ensue. Former President of Nigeria and Chairman of Dana Forum, Olusegun Obasanjo, said on his part, the forum can only be a place of ideas and thoughts if the continent cannot implement it into action. According to Obasanjo, the reforms of African institutions, including the African Union, are the reforms of the African states. He urged the participants of the forum to work for the realization of reforms. During the panel discussion, African scholars emphasized that working in accordance and collaboration can realize the issue of financing the African Union peace and security by itself. United Nations Peacekeeping Operation Assistant Secretary General Bonto Keita said African countries need to cooperate and strengthen their partnership to realize the reform. Member states of the African Union should understand that financing all institutions can give the sense of ownership, she added. The Assistant Secretary General noted that the shared responsibility and common understanding on how to finance peace and security provisions are the critical mechanisms to bring the intended ambition. The ownership of the Union cannot be isolated from the parts of the world, she said, and added that every member of the Union should understand that the inclusivity of the ownership, mentioning that over 35 African countries contribute for the peace and security of the world in fragmented way. Keita said the countries need to bring this power to one. Ambassador Robert Bryant of George Washington University School of International Assistance said understanding the state ownership is the first step to bring African solution for African problems. Ambassador Bryant stated that African countries owning their union is not sharing the rest of the world, rather leading their partnership in a strategic way. Partnership within region to region, country to country should be improved in order to realize the sense of ownership, he added. Over 28% of the United Nations Assembly members are African countries, he said, and stressed bringing this commitment signifies that the Union can own its peace and security provisions. The 7th Dana High-Level Forum on Security in Africa was held in Bahardar City under the theme of ownership of Africa's peace and security provision, financing and reforming the African Union, INA reported.
Immigration and Citizenship Affairs Directorate announced that it is going to launch more suitable service which help us to encourage investment and tourism flow. Akil Lugar takes up Jala Broadcast reports.
Director for Immigration and Nationality Affairs, Gabriel Johannes Teklu, said measures has been taken in order to solve bureaucratic works of the department.
After the management has been reshuffled, identifying inefficient and corrupted workers have been done, and measures would be taken on some corrupted workers.
Gabriel Johannes added that an agreement has been signed with the Ethiopian Postal Service Organization in order to solve passport provision problems. Gabriel Johannes disclosed that electronic visa provision for expats has been started in collaboration with the Ethiopian Airlines.
Electronic visa has been launched to provide swift services on investment, tourism and conference, which have been growing from time to time.
It is said that 21 expatriates who fulfilled the criteria have got Ethiopian citizenship on the basis of legal procedure. Gabriel Johannes said that works are underway with embassies on the fate of undocumented Ethiopians.
It was said that women's participation in science and research has paramount role in changing public's life standard. For Women's Science and Research Association discussion held in Finfinne. Mukhtar Raji has the detail.
The Ethiopian Women's Science and Technology Research Association was established before 5 years with a few numbers of women researchers and students. President of the association, Dr. Aster Tsegay said the main objective of the association is to scale up women's participation in research activities. Generally, the research activities in Ethiopia is on the infancy level. As a result, the interest of the women in this regard is too weak. So, the association has been playing a vital role in supporting and initiating women in the work of conducting research, she said. Due to different responsibilities, women were not taking part in different research activities in the country. Representative of Ministry of Women's and Children Office, Fatia Digdao said women should strive to work in different social activities through strong self-reliance. In science and different technology engineering activity, women should play their level best to make changes. Deputy Minister of Ministry of Science and Technology, Professor Afwerk Kasu said the role of Ethiopian women in research activity is very weak.
Different research activities have been conducted since 2014-15 on 56 problem-solving project works. Among the researchers, only 2 of them were women. This showed that the role of women in research work is almost none.
This is Oben, Voice of the People. Now news from abroad. Iran is ready to resume its controversial nuclear program at a much greater speed if the United States walks away from the landmark 2015 nuclear deal, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif has said. US President Donald Trump has set a May 12 deadline for the Europeans to fix the agreement that provides for curb to Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief from financial sanction. Zarif said the European leaders must press Trump to stick to the deal if the United States intends to maintain any credibility in the international community. If the United States bears the deal, Iran is unlikely to stick to the agreement alongside the other signatories, Britain, China, France, Germany, and Russia, said the foreign minister. CGTN reported. Many thanks for joining us. That's all for now. I'll be back with our weekly program, Pick of the Week. Stay tuned.